Hello, it's Saturday the 7th of July 2018. Hello, I'm speaking to you from the outbuilding. This is where my dog Siku used to live when he was still with me, before my ex left and took him back to live with him in Nottingham. And I still miss him a lot when I come in here because this was always his space. And I can see things in here that remind me of him, just things that my ex has left that he didn't need. But anyway, I came in here because I just wanted a bit more privacy to chat to you. So I wanted to tell you about something really funny that happened this morning. Basically, I was fast asleep and I just started coming round and I realised I could hear like so many different noises. It was insane. So I thought I could hear, like, I picked out voices, loud voices talking, dogs barking, and it sounded like they were in the house. And there was a bunch of other weird noises and there was a lot of knocking at the front door. So I threw on this little towel and went to answer the door because I was hoping that might tell me what was going on. And I was still half asleep at this point, and I just pulled the door open and there's my neighbour and his partner and their dogs standing in the porch. And basically I was like, oh, hello. And then the neighbour said, we heard that noise, the alarm. And at that point, because he pointed it out to me, I realised that my 100 decibel alarm clock had been going off for a long time. I think they said they could hear it for an hour at least, and it could have been longer. And it just doesn't wake me up anymore. This is the problem I have. No matter how loud a noise is, it will only wake me up the first few times and then it'll stop working. Like, my brain's just able to identify the noise and just easily ignore it without me even stirring. So obviously I had no idea the alarm had been going off this whole time. I knew that I had it set at some point that week because my mum wasn't there, and otherwise I'd have slept all day and really odd times and probably not had enough food and drink. So I was hoping it'd wake me up at least some mornings, and I guess it must have been going off every morning, but it didn't wake me up really at all this week, so it's not working for me right now. Anyway, the neighbours had heard this alarm going off for about an hour from outside the house, and it is really loud. The 100 decibels is the same as a rock concert, so I mean that gives you an idea. And I think they'd been making phone calls trying to sort of get advice on what to do, because they had come to the conclusion that it must be one of those alarms that goes off when somebody has a fall and they need to alert somebody, and they've got, like, you know, a personal alarm they can press, and then hopefully somebody will hear it and come to their rescue. That's mainly older people who fall and can't get up, but obviously anyone with a disability could use that. And I had been chatting to my neighbour a bit over the past few months and explained a little bit about my condition to him, so I know he knew that I had a disability that affected my mobility, so it was a completely reasonable assumption for them to make. And then I had to explain that it's just my alarm, and the reason it's so loud is because I fall into a really deep sleep and can't be woken up for days sometimes, and the reason it was going off for so long is because it failed to wake me up. And at that point they were so relieved. The situation was resolved, they were happy, they were sort of ready to get off back home, just happy that it hadn't turned out to be anything disastrous. And I'm really grateful to them for doing that, and I think it shows what kind-hearted sort of people they are, and I wish more people would be like that and step in when they notice something unusual happening. In psychology, you know, going back to my first degree, it's called the bystander effect. So the bystander effect is where people don't step in to help, and the more people there are present, the bigger a group of people, the less likely it is someone will step in to help, and the more time it takes before someone does.